The material you're touching right now didn't exist when your great-grandparents were born. That bottle cap, your phone case, the keyboard under your fingers. They're made from a substance that humans invented from scratch. Not discovered, not refined, but created molecule by molecule from ancient buried life. Here's what nobody tells you. Plastic is fossilized sunlight. Every piece started as plankton and plants that died 300 million years ago, transformed by pressure into oil, then cracked apart by heat and reassembled into shapes nature never imagined. Why does some plastic melt in hot water, while other plastic survives your dishwasher? How did one accidental discovery turn cooking residue into the material that shapes modern life? And what makes the difference between plastic that lasts 1,000 years and plastic designed to disappear in months? Let's explore the process. Plastic begins deep underground, not as polymer, but as crude oil, liquefied remains of ancient organisms compressed under rock for hundreds of millions of years. But oil alone isn't plastic. It's a chaotic mixture of thousands of different hydrocarbon molecules, all mixed together randomly. For most of human history, we burned this for light and heat. We had no idea we could transform it into solid materials. Then, in 1907, chemist Leo Baekeland was trying to create synthetic shellac. He mixed phenol and formaldehyde, applied heat and pressure. Instead of shellac, he got something impossible, a material that wouldn't melt, dissolve, or decompose. But here's where it gets interesting. Baekeland had created the first synthetic polymer, not by finding something in nature, but by forcing small molecules to link together into massive chains. Heat provided energy. Pressure forced proximity. Chemical bonds formed between molecules that would never connect naturally. He called it Bakelite. It became everything: telephones, radios, electrical insulators. For the first time, humans weren't limited by what nature provided. We could design materials with exact properties. That discovery opened a door. Within decades, chemists created nylon, polyethylene, polystyrene, PVC, each a different way of chaining molecules together. Here's what happens inside a plastic factory, and why your cheap storage container warps while expensive ones don't. Plastic production starts with cracking crude oil at 800 degrees. Heat breaks large hydrocarbon molecules into smaller pieces: ethylene, propylene, benzene. These are monomers, the building blocks. But monomers aren't plastic. They're tiny individual molecules, liquids or gases. To become plastic, they need to polymerize, link together into chains thousands of units long. They pump monomers into reactors with catalysts and heat. Catalysts unlock bonding sites on each molecule. Under pressure, monomers slam together, forming chemical bonds. One connects to another, then another, building chains. You probably think all plastic is the same. Everyone does. But chain structure determines everything. Linear chains slide past each other easily. That's flexible plastic bags. Cross-linked chains lock together. That's rigid phone cases. Branch chains create different properties entirely. That's why your cheap container warps. Wrong polymer structure for high heat. The manufacturer chose polyethylene instead of polypropylene to save 3 cents, and you paid for it when it deformed in your dishwasher. The molten plastic gets extruded, or injection molded. For bottles, they blow hot plastic into molds. For cases and containers, they inject molten polymer under extreme pressure. The plastic cools, chains lock into position, shape becomes permanent. But wait, temperature determines everything. Cool too fast, and internal stresses cause cracking. Cool too slow, and the product takes too long to manufacture economically. Modern molds have channels pumping temperature-controlled water, managing cooling with precision. Some plastics need additives, plasticizers to make them flexible, UV stabilizers to prevent degradation, flame retardants for electronics. Each additive changes how polymer chains interact, modifying properties at the molecular level. Most plastic never degrades. That sounds like a problem, but it reveals something profound about molecular bond strength. Plastic polymers are so stable that bacteria don't recognize them as food. The chemical bonds holding monomers together resist breaking naturally. That bottle cap could sit in a landfill for 1,000 years, molecularly unchanged. But here's the kicker. Plastic's permanence isn't because we can't make degradable versions. Scientists have created plastics that decompose in months. PLA from cornstarch, PHA from bacteria, even polymers designed to break down in ocean water. Plastic persists because persistence was the original goal. We wanted materials that didn't rot like wood, rust like metal, or shatter like glass. We succeeded so completely that now we're engineering the opposite. Plastics that know when to fall apart. Every time you use a plastic bottle, open a phone, or rely on medical equipment, you're trusting chemists who learned to design molecular architecture from scratch. You're trusting that someone understood how to make carbon and hydrogen connect in patterns that create specific properties. That container in your hand isn't just plastic. It's precisely engineered polymer chains, either designed for the application or cheapened to minimum specs. You can tell which by how it performs under stress. So, that synthetic material didn't exist a century ago. Plastic isn't about convenience anymore. It's about recognizing intentional molecular design, the chains engineered for purpose, the additives chosen for properties, the degradation timeline built into the bonds themselves. You see the chemistry now, not just the shape. Maybe you'll check the recycling number before buying, because you're someone who reads the molecular decisions others ignore. That's the process. We reveal how things actually work, one story at a time. If there's something you'd like us to explore next, let us know. Until then, trust the process.